and then a little bit on the divine feminine, and the divine feminine that's been dissociated, like the fingers cut off of Sedna. This is when Sedna was discovered, by the way. This is actually, if you start looking at this material, it's unending in terms of the mythic poem that it all is. So the astronomers, when they pick up this reality, and her name her Sedna because she's at the furthest regions of our icy cold world of solar system, they say that she was pulled into a gravitational field that was birthed by a star from the sun's birth cluster. So basically, they say that her orbit is best explained by the sun having formed in an open cluster of several stars that gradually dissociated over time. So this word dissociated, this is the astronomers talking, right? So Sedna is born from a literal star body dissociation. Okay, so we know that our psyche is in a dissociated state, and this is why when we go for healing, we do drop down to these deep strata where the divine feminine is happy to meet us. The depth of the dark feminine figures that are showing up inside the psyche of individuals, to me, is of enormous interest, because this is what we're being taken down to in our life changes, midlife changes, and illnesses, and facing death. Many, many changes over a lifetime. When you go down to the bottom of it, you look at, what archetypal presences are personifying themselves in it. It is the images of these dark feminine presences that are seeking healing in our healing. So I think when you say, you started the show today, Dr. Dave, with that beautiful quote around the Anima Mundi, and then you brought in the film I Am. I think we have to ask ourselves, whose awakening is this that we are part of? It's our awakening, sure, but it's the awakening of our world soul, and it's the awakening of, well, who knows what else. It's a giant mystery. I think of a beautiful koan to walk with daily. Whose awakening is this that I'm part of? And that exists when we start, looking at our own crises. We look at our world soul right now, where we sit with election day and so many things that were not spoken of on the campaign trail, like the one and only topic that I can imagine we should be addressing, which is, of course, the ecological myth of our time. We have to come back and have these kind of conversations and take a look in. And when we do, we then see what of our world soul is trying to morph and change. It is individual and it's deeply collective. I think our world is that certainly our Western psyche, and in the States, we were a puer culture, renegade runaways with endless resources, running off all the buffalo and contaminating indigenous people with our greed when the buffalo falls is an amazing myth of America. And it's in the soil of America that we're sitting. And so what are we going to do with that original piece that we brought over from the Western world onto this land? Jung says, he speaks to this exquisitely. When he came to the Southwest, or right by my house, he went to the Taos Pueblo, which is so dear to think of. And when he had these experiences in the Southwest, he went back, and of course with an Anelli Jaffe, he wrote about the fact that when he was in America, he really felt that Americans had a very unusual fate. They had to work with the Western mind, but the soul of the indigenous. And the soul of the indigenous that lives in the land itself. Now, this is Jung speaking long ago. Jung saying that Americans have the fate of working with the Western mind, the intellect of the West, and the soul of the indigenous. Now, this is why these astronomical mirrors, now that they're doing all these indigenous goddesses, it is about the indigenous shamanic soul that lives in the land itself, and it lives in the psyche itself. Indigenous people have carried that for us. and bless them, and may they prosper and do incredibly beautifully and recover on our planet. And may we wake up to the indigenous core that's inside the soul itself, that's waking us up to live on the web of creation, that's teaching us what the indigenous soul has always known of the interconnectedness of spirit and matter, and our place on the web, our humble, beautiful place on the web. So I think Jung's words about the indigenous soul is in the land itself, I experience that. I so agree. And it's not about moralizing or having to teach or proselytize. It's not about that at all. It's about awakening from within and having the courage to feel. And when we do that, then it awakens with us. And I think as we sit today on election day, Dr. Dave, that's most